I can have your attention here in the media center. We are now joined by Austin Dillon, driver of the number 3 AAA Chevrolet for Richard Childress Racing. Austin, fresh off of his first Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series win last week in the Coca-Cola 600, now here for the AAA 400 at the Monster Mile, the Drive for Autism. Austin, how has this week of celebration been for you, and are you still celebrating at this point in time?
No, I'm pretty focused on our task in front of us right now, and that's the Monster Mile. So we just been working on our car and in both series. So it's been a pretty busy day, and it was a wonderful weekend that I'll never forget. We're in a week.
Okay, we'll open the floor up for questions. We'll get a wireless mic to you, so just raise your hand. We'll start here with Jerry, and we'll come up here to Bob.
Jerry Jordan, KickingTheTires.net and PRN. Right here. We're not going to lift you off that easy. I saw Snapchat. I saw opening bell or closing bell on Wall Street. Talk about your week and how cool this has been to coming off your win.
Well, I mean, it's been an awesome week, truthfully. Got to do some things that I would have on my bucket list, but I didn't even know they were possible. You know, closing the bell was really special, and getting to do that with my grandfather, that was the first time or his only time doing that, and so it was cool to give him something that he had never done. And that's hard to do because my grandfather's done a whole lot. So that was special, and had a good time with my team and everybody at RCR, and a good time that night after the race.
Go next to Bob and then to Matt.
Bob Parker, ESPN. What was the most special thing, or was there anything about this celebration week that you didn't anticipate?
Probably the most special thing, there's two things. The night after we closed the bell, my grandfather wanted to stay in New York and have dinner, and it was the guys from SMI and myself and my fiance and Peggy Louse from Coke, and he bought a bottle of champagne, and he said, let's toast to the Coca-Cola 600 champion, and that was pretty emotional and cool, and to hear my grandfather do that and, you know, kind of nod his head at me, it felt good. And then at RCR, I got to speak in front of the whole company, and that was probably the most emotional I got, was just thanking those guys who have always been there for me. I told them, you know, this is what it's all about, and all the hard work and effort that they've put in, and the support of myself throughout all of my racing career, and just seeing some of those faces, it was really cool to share that with them and have victory lane there at the shop. We kind of recreated it. That was awesome.
Hey, Austin, Matt Pensick at WBOC TV. We were talking about the celebration all this week. Is it challenging to get dialed back in, to get focused to the task at hand this weekend and competing at the mile?
You know, I don't think so. I think we've got a great group of guys. I actually just loved working through practice right there with Justin. It was nice to just kind of work on the car and to hear him talk and go through things. It was good. You know, it was a solid practice session. So, no, I feel like we just want to win again. We got a lot left to accomplish. You know, that was the first one. We want more to come and to get ourselves solidly into the playoffs.
Go next to Dustin.
Hey, Austin. Dustin Albino, FrontStretch.com. How long did it take for the wind to sink in?
I don't think I've slowed down enough yet to really just know that I'm a NASCAR Cup Series winner, but it's sunk in a couple times, you know, like those opportunities I've had with my grandfather and the race team. So those are the most special times. But going through my phone and Twitter, still kind of going through my phone right now and thanking people, and that's cool.
Do we have additional questions for Austin Dillon? Dustin?
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Austin, although it's just only been a week since then, when you think about that you won this race and think about those who haven't, I mean, for example, a guy like Cale Yarborough won 3 times at Charlotte, but he never won a Coca-Cola or World 600. Dale Earnhardt Jr. never will have that opportunity again, and others haven't. So when you think about accomplishing something that, especially like a Hall of Famer like Cale Yarborough never did in his career, what does that mean for you?
Well, I think the ultimate goal in racing is to make it to the Hall of Fame. My grandfather, I was able to go through that whole experience with him and how special that was. I know that was just it was like a relief for him when it happened, because that's what you work your entire life for, is a accolade like that. for him to accomplish that, it was so cool, and hopefully one day I can do the same. So we've got a long way to go. You know, there's a lot of great people that have done so much, and I'm happy to be adding to the sport's history. That was something my grandfather made clear. You're making history every day when you're out here racing, and it was cool to add to the sport's history.
Reed?
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wire Service, Austin. Was that just a chance meeting that you ran into Takuma Sato, and what did you guys talk about?
Yeah, that was totally fate. We had that dinner that it wasn't a scheduled dinner. My grandfather was just like, hey, we're in New York, let's have a dinner. And we got done and we're headed to the airport. Everybody's pretty tired, and we walked through the airport, and one of the guys said, hey, I think that's Takuma Sato. And he was walking actually out to the plane, and like, man, we got to get a picture with him. And his business manager turned around and seen us, and he was like, well, this is a great coincidence. And he pulled him back in, and we got a couple pictures, showed off our rings to each other, and that was cool. He was a really nice guy, and you could tell he was just jacked about the win in Indy.
That's the Jim.
Jim Utter, motorsport.com. Obviously, Ryan Newman's win ended a long drought for RCR, but could you tell this week any difference how special it was for the 3-car to win, either for the people who have been in the shop for a long time or your grandfather?
Well, I mean, I think it was huge. Ryan's win was unbelievable for our company, and this one was just as big. And just for all those people that, it's a competition within a competition. You still want to be the best in the organization and run well, but that's what drives us to be better and better. And it was cool having Luke Lambert. He was over at the barn the next morning, like partying right there with us, and it's a really team atmosphere, and it's cool to see this kind of building as a team. And a lot of the 27 guys thanked me, and 3 guys were just happy to be in victory circle. So it felt really good.
Go next to Matt and then to Dustin.
Austin, when Martin Truex was here just a few minutes ago, he talked about he's coming off the win in the fall, but there's some rule changes and things do make it slightly different. Have you noticed that? Have you prepared for it when you're out there in practice?
Yeah, I think we all are our team was a little surprised about the differences in the past race here to this one and in practice session. So we made some pretty big swings, and we felt like we got our car pretty comfortable, but I think the track's starting to rubber up a little bit as we go here, and I've seen more and more guys kind of move to the middle lane. So that was cool, and maybe you'll see more and more of that come race time, moving up the track.
Go next to Dustin.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Only second week, obviously, at this level working with Justin. I know you've worked with him before, so what are you guys still working through? What are you wanting from him as you move forward in this relationship, and what are you going to need to provide for him to continue to have success?
Well, I don't know if it's the honeymoon or what, but he's doing everything right now. We had a good time yesterday at the Drive for Autism golf tournament. We came back, we had dinner, and we discussed, it was just me and him actually having dinner together and just talking about the race car, and that was nice to just talk and discuss what we thought was going into this weekend with AAA, and it's been a great relationship so far. So, and in practice today, it was cool. I kind of smiled halfway through practice because I was thinking about an adjustment that I said the car was a little tight, and I was thinking in my mind, all right, I know kind of what direction I want to go here, and like I seen him turn around to the engineers and get excited, and I don't know, get excited. He just had a revelation, and he said, all right, we're going to do this, and it was exactly what I was thinking. And that's when I've had that once before when I was running for a championship with Danny Stockman, where I could say, all right, I'm tight here, and he could say, all right, well, I want to adjust this, and it was exactly what I was thinking. I didn't even have to tell him what part to change, and that's when you start getting to where you know each other. And I know it's early on, but that felt really good. I mean, I came in the truck, and Eric's like, what are you smiling for? I was like, no, I'm happy with my guy right now. He's doing really well, and it's exciting.
Any additional questions for Austin Dillon? Well, Austin, congratulations
I
again
want to
on
clear
the win.
one thing up, though.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Chris Knight said, when did you get a 24 karat gold Camaro? That is just a wrap from RCR Graphics. So It's a wrap on my Camaro that was burning out.
It's
in.
not. It's not a 24-karat
No,
gold
it's,
wrap.
no, I can't afford that. But
Okay.
it's a chrome gold wrap. You can get it at RCR Graphics. It's pretty sweet.
Well, maybe if you win the championship, maybe then you can actually turn that in.
We can talk about that.
Okay, good deal.
That was the first one, and the clothes still stink. The funny thing is, it's not my garage. That's actually my house. That's where I live. So I'm glad my fiance loves me a whole lot.